Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council to order on March 1st, 2012 at 8:02 p.m. On roll call, council members Castiglia.
Here.
Galletti. Here. Conboy.
Here.
Trowinski. Here. Monsino.
Here.
Work. Here. Mayor Moore.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for a prayer of flag salute? God our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting with trusting your lovely care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and center in a keen sense of justice and a great love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public laws of the state of New Jersey, stated by the presiding officer, and therefore be advised that the requirements of this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice in the record of Hackensack, and that Herald News will be reported by posting such notice in the office of Borough Clerk as well as in the public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2012. If anyone wants to watch this on TV at another time or on our cable, this will be on Wednesday, January 77th, Wednesday at 12 noon, Wednesday at 3 p.m., and Friday at 12 noon, or you can watch it on our website, www.elmwoodparknj.us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a full house here this evening. If there's anyone who gets rowdy or rude, be assured I will call the police. If they can't handle it, we'll get the fire department to help. Thank you, Mr. Captain.
Mayor, this evening on the approval of minutes, we have a regular meeting of February 16, 2012, executive session for February 16, 2012, the executive session of February 23rd, 2012.
Gentlemen, I have a motion to approve all three.
Mayor, on February 16th, I have to abstain from the regular and the executive.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
So,
Moved by Mr. Keith, Mr. Work, and Mr. Chewinski. Any discussion? Call the roll and just abstain, Mr. Monsino.
on roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Galletti.
Yes.
Trowinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
February 23rd.
And Councilman Work.
Yes.
Motion passes. Mayor, this evening under resolutions, we have resolution 90-12, appointment of police chief Thomas P. Johnson. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the borough of Elmwood Park that the following name be is hereby appointed as police chief, police department for the borough of Elmwood Park, at a base salary of $182,500. Thomas P. Johnson of Ringwood, New Jersey. Be it further resolved that said appointment is made provisionally in accordance with the Department of Personnel rules and regulations, and be it further resolved that the effective date of this appointment is March 1st, 2012.
May I have a motion? Second. Moved by Mr. Monsino, second by Mr. Conboy. Any discussion? I have a list of some of the items that our new police chief has accomplished. I'm not going to go through them all. It's lengthy. I do want to say he's born and raised in Elmwood Park, attended St. Leo's, Paramus Catholic, and Montclair State University. His wife and 3 daughters. No, he's got 2 daughters and one son.
There for a second.
Since I have only 3 daughters, I was hoping everybody would only have. And his mom and dad, Frank and Eileen, sitting right in front. At this time, I would like to take a roll call.
On roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Galletti.
Yes.
Conboy.
Absolutely.
Trowinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This time, I would like our police honor guard to escort our new police chief to the front. family, if we're going to read the Bible, come forward.
Cameras are over here.
Are you all set? Repeat after me. I, Thomas P. Johnson,
I, Thomas P. Johnson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and
to
allegiance
the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of Police Chief in Elmwood Park.
of Police Chief in Elmwood Park.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Can you please move?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to have the pleasure of giving the new badge. He has a badge now. If you wait till I try to get it in there, we'll be here half the night. So please, Chief, congratulations. Here's your new police chief badge. Are there any comments to be made by our new police chief?
Just a couple, Mayor. I have just a 30-minute speech. I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. My God, all you people supporting me, you've humbled me with all of your presence, and it really means a lot to me that all of you are here tonight. I want to first and foremost thank the mayor and the council. This has been a 2-month process of trying to convince them that I'm the guy. And I'm glad that I'm thankful that you trust me with the police department, and I guarantee you will get a good chief, and I'll do everything to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
I want to thank our clerk, Keith Kasmark. He's been my voice to the councilman when I'm not around at all the council meetings, so Keith, thanks for all your hard work. I want to thank my whole family for putting up with all the excuses of having to do police work, and I've missed a lot of holidays and missed a lot of family functions, and I thank all my family members for all your patience. I want to thank my brother-in-law, Ron Kemp. He's a former councilman. In 1984, he told me, "Hey kid, you ever think about taking a police test?" And I said, "I don't know, Ron." He said, "Oh, sign up, I'll get you the paperwork." No, I think it worked out for me, so thanks. I'm not going to look at you, but I want to thank my parents for always having the faith in me to do the job, and my mother and father always told me, be a leader, don't be a follower. And it's come to fruition, so thank you. My wife Garcia and my 3 kids, they've lived a law enforcement lifestyle. They've had to deal with holidays occurring not on the day they're supposed to because I had to work. They've opened up Christmas presents at 4 in the morning. They've had to be quiet during the day because Daddy was sleeping. And now lately they have to deal with listening to me talk about police work on my cell phone 24 hours a day. And to my wife, who's been mom and dad a lot of times, I love you all. So thank you. If anyone doesn't know, we had 7 people retire, so I want to just congratulate all 7 of the retirees. I hope you're enjoying the rest of your lives after law enforcement, or if you're staying in law enforcement, I wish you the best of luck. I want to thank Chief Ingrassalino and Deputy Chief Palmieri. They've bestowed a lot of knowledge and wisdom on me throughout my career. So I want to thank you guys for grooming me to do the job. Thank you. I want to thank all of my officers. I want to recognize all these guys that wear this patch, Elmwood Park Police patch. You guys are my motivation for wanting to excel through the ranks and to become the chief. And without you guys, I'd be nothing. So I appreciate all of you. I would like to just have a special thanks to Lieutenant DePasquale, Lieutenant Thorpe, and Lieutenant Feligno. They've stepped up into their new command positions without actually having the rank. So, and I appreciate all you guys do for me. So. Thank you, and I applaud the whole police department. Lastly, I'm going to talk to the camera for the people that are watching this. I want to thank the residents of Elmwood Park. Your unwavering support for your local police department. It's always been there as long as I know, and it's probably as long as we've been in existence. I'm proud to stand here to be your chief of police, and I want to thank you again for your support. Thank you to the residents. You know, if you look around the room, there's a lot of dignitaries, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to thank all of you, because every one of you, whether you have a uniform, a fireman, you're all dignitaries in my mind, every single one of you. So I want to just thank you, and you know who you are. If you're a dignitary, I'm sure the mayor will recognize you a little later. And in closing, Passaic County Sheriff Engelhardt, when I made captain, I ran into him, and he said one thing to me that always stuck with me. He said, you're only as great as the people you surround yourself with. And I'm looking around the room, and I feel really great right now. So thank you. While everybody's standing, my dad's going to be 88 years old next week, so happy birthday. Thanks again for everybody for coming, I appreciate it.
We have some dignitaries and some other police officials in the audience. First, I'd like to introduce, if he wants to say anything. We have our Senator, Senator Poe. Senator? We got Assembly Woman Sutton.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good evening to all of you. Forgive me for giving you my back for just a moment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nellie Poe. I'm the senator. I'm your new senator here for the 35th Legislative District, and I'm privileged and honored to be here to serve you. With me today is my colleague, Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter. I'd like to, Chief, first and foremost, let me congratulate you. I fully understand and can appreciate the incredible responsibility that you have. And I know that it does not become possible to do the hard work and the incredible work that no doubt that has gotten you to the level that you are without the support and love and commitment from your family. So I can tell you, you have quite a large family here, I might add, because all of you clearly is important to Chief Johnson. Congratulations to you. We have prepared a New Jersey State legislative citation from the three of us. I'd like to just, before I end, let me once again say I look forward to working with you, to working with the Borough of Elmwood Park, to working with you, Mr. Mayor, and to all the members of the council. Please feel free to call upon my office in any way that we can be of service to you. And to the residents, once again, thank you for your vote of confidence and for helping me and my colleagues to move forward. Again, please feel free to call my office if there's anything that we can do. Congratulations so very much. Assemblywoman Sumter?
I will be brief. Just, again, congratulations. Happy to have the opportunity to share this moment with you, and we look forward to being public servants with you. Congratulations.
Finally, Chief, let me just say that I'm sure you'll probably hear, or the mayor will probably acknowledge, but I know that I bring greetings to you and congratulations from Congressman Bill Pascrell. I see that his representative is here and will be speaking to you very shortly, but to all of you and especially to you, congratulations once again. Thank you.
We have Congressman Pascal's aide, chief of staff. Will you please come up?
To the Honorable Council, the Honorable Mayor, Chief Kazimierz has always been a friend and has been an asset to Elmwood Park as well as where he serves in
Do you need a
Elmwood
microphone?
Park.
Just speak loud.
Excuse my bad. Just gotta make one correction. It's field representative. I don't want to put myself on the high pedestal of chief of staff. So
Take advantage. If I promoted you, take advantage.
if he sees, he's probably gonna call me right now. What are you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fahim. I'm the Congressman's field representative. Congressman Pascrell has been around, and unfortunately he's not here today because he is on his way back from Washington. I'm the Congressman's field rep, and I handle public safety for the Congressman. Always have the past 4 years. I am darn proud of it. Public safety means a lot of things, but to me it means the men and women that are in his office, or in uniform or out of uniform, and we're not even in this room right now. And you are the backbone of the community. You there, you serve, even when there's times when it's not appropriate to, or not even appropriate. That's out of proper to talk or to do something. Even whether you're in uniform or out of uniform, you still do it. You carry the job with you 24/7, 365 days a year. As the Congressman who is the co-chair of the Law Enforcement Caucus in D.C. and has authored the FIRE Act, and I'm sure he is proud of everybody here in this room here, and as well with Chief Johnson. And if I'm going to read something simple, brief from the Congressman. Dear Chief Johnson, I'd like to take the opportunity to congratulate you on being sworn in as a police chief of the Borough of Elmwood Park. Our nation's police officers play an integral part of our community and our lives each and every day. The Borough of Elmwood Park has proven to have an outstanding police department, and I'm truly confident that you will continue to guide this department under your leadership. Skip down to the last paragraph. Today, you are being promoted to the Chief of the Elmwood Park Police Department, and for this, you and your wife Darcia and 3 children, Robert, Elisa, and Caitlin, can be proud of this great achievement. As a representative in Congress, I wish you nothing but continued success and safety in years to come. My door is always open, and mine is so. Congratulations.
I would like to introduce our former chief, Donnie Grassolino, who's in the back.
I got it.
We have the police chief from Long Island, who is also the Bergen County Chief of the Chiefs Association. President of the Chiefs Association. Police Chief Frank Indregino. Oakland Chief Ed Casper. Director of the Police Academy of Passaic County, Monty Boyd. Under Sheriff Brian Smith. Chief Kevin Amos of Garfield. And I hope I didn't miss anyone. I would also, at this time, he's chief, but he's not chief of the police department. We have our own fire chief here, Chief Stewart. Is there anyone in the audience who has any gift or presentation to our new chief? Happens to me all the time.
Tom, congratulations.
Only Councilman Ronald Kemp.
No, it's true. When I was a councilman, he was wandering around and needed a little direction, and I said, why don't you take the police test? And he's been true. He's graduated #1 in the academy. When he came through, he's always been #1 at the top of his line. Tom, I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you. Congratulations.
At this time, I would like to have the council, if they have any comments. Councilman Castillo.
Congratulations, Tom. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Councilman Conway.
Thank you, Mayor. Tommy, you nailed it on the head before when you said about being a leader. I was fortunate enough to be able to walk the hallways of Paramus County for a couple of years with Tom. He's a little bit older than me, probably about 2 years. So he was a leader back then, and he'll be a leader in our community. Congratulations to you, your family, your mom, your dad. It's great that they're all here, and your family, your wife, and your children. And to everyone who came out today, all of our fire department, ambulance, and all the guys that are here, and everybody. Thank you. God bless. Let St. Michael watch over you and all the guys here, and have great success.
Thank you.
Our police liaison, Mr. Lou Rosino.
I'd first like to start by congratulating Chief Johnson for getting that uniform on. I know my tenure in council, I haven't seen him wear a uniform. I trust it didn't require too many alterations. But seriously, with the recent retirements, our police department marks the beginning of a new era in law enforcement in the borough. Over the past 2 months, I've had the privilege of working with the officer in charge to get to this day. I have known Tom and his family for quite some time now, but in my role as councilman, I have found him to be results-oriented, open-minded, and an individual who gauged his success not by his accomplishments, but by those of the department as a whole. Tom brings a competence, a character, a professionalism to the office of chief, and it's clear to me in this short time that these leadership qualities have already made a significant impact. With that, let me congratulate you again, Tom, and your family on your promotion to chief of the department. I look forward to working with you as police liaison and wish you nothing but the best, professionally and personally, as you begin this new chapter. Thank you. Best of luck.
I would like to welcome our new chief, Tommy Johnson. This has to be a very exciting moment for the family, friends, and relatives. I said that, though, right? Friends and relatives. And us. This is exciting for us, too. I've known Tommy for some 25 years, as a matter of fact.
Excuse me, you talking about Chief Johnson?
Yes.
Doesn't know me anymore. Chief Johnson. Otherwise, don't drive home tonight.
Chief? I've known Chief Johnson for 25 years, and I recall back in the days of the Passion Play, St. Leo's Passion Play, Tommy was a young man at the time. It was very hard to keep him interested in a play. He was more or less more interested in the young girls that were in the play to keep his attention. That was before he was married. And I'm not surprised to see him rise to the heights that he has. It was obvious he was aggressive, full of energy, and this is where you would end up. The morale of the rank and file in the police department seems to be very high in anticipation of your promotion. This is a great moment for Elmwood Park. We have a police chief with character, personality, vintage ability, and wisdom. Tommy, don't change. I know that you're going to make us all proud. Stay the course and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom. It seems like yesterday, I remember you just hanging around my house when I did brother, we were going to Paramus Catholic. I remember when you did join the police force. I've seen you go through the years, and I see the respect you have in this room tonight. I just hope it carries, and I know it will carry through your whole career as chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Johnson, I'd like to congratulate you and your family. I'm relatively new in town, new on the council. First time I met you was probably in the back room, and right then and there I was detail oriented. We had 7 retirements in the police department. Tommy came in, we asked him, be an officer in charge, and he had everything lined up. I mean, everything, right down to T, who's going to be running this department, where the police officer going to be, detail oriented. But it's going to be a privilege and honor to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Johnson, it's the second time I've sworn you in. Swore you in as a patrolman, swore you in now. And, oh, no, that's right. All the way up the legs. You're absolutely right. Well, I'm not going to do it anymore. You've gone as far as you can go here. Hopefully you'll go further at some point in time.
Mayor,
I indicate that I express the thoughts of each one of our councilmen. You're going to do a good job. My position as mayor is to let you alone. You run the police department. I'm the mayor. I don't interfere with you because you're really doing an excellent job, and we're all going to appreciate that. I wish you the best of luck, happiness, and say goodbye to your wife and kids. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And for everyone here, we're going to have a little bit of food, I guess, over at the Elks next door. And the borough is always looking for money, so if you want a copy of this meeting, it's only going to be $52 each. We can sell to everyone. No. I'm going to call for a short adjournment here. We're not going to recess, but if anyone wants to go to the Elks next door, thank you for coming. It shows your appreciation and your opinion of a great police chief coming along, and we sincerely thank you. Please remain seated till we're out.
A word. Ouch.
Resolution 92-12, confirmation of checks. Resolution 93-12, confirmation of payroll. Resolution 94-12, approval of the police chief employment agreement for Thomas P. Johnson. Resolution 95-12, retirement compensation for Joan Tully, municipal clerk's office. Resolution 96-12, recycling tax identification statement. Resolution 97-12, appointment of full-time laborer Michael Swoller, Department of Public Works. Resolution 98-12, appointment of full-time laborer Charles Keenan, in the Department of Public Works. Resolution 99-12, authorization of extension of recyclable collection agreement. Resolution 100-12, appointment of appraiser McNerney and Associates Incorporated. Resolution 101-12, stipulation of settlement for 7 Hotels LLC. Resolution 102-12, stipulation of settlement for Martin LLC. Resolution 103-12, stipulation of settlement for 251 Walnut Drive Realty Associates. Resolution 104-12, affirmation of civil rights policy. And Resolution 105-12, appointment of part-time and temporary employees of the Recreation Department for their spring camp program.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Word. Word, section, Councilman Magistrate. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, R103-12, can we pull that separately? I have the situation where I can recuse myself on that specific issue.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, can we just have it, we have to pull it, or you can just... I know you have a motion to pull that, resolution 103-12, moved by Mr. Monsino, second. Second by Mr. Work, any discussion, all in favor, opposed? May I have a motion on the consent calendar?
We got that, Mayor.
May I have, any comments? Roll.
On roll call for the consent agenda without resolution 103-12. On roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Coletti.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Truinsky.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, it's time to take a motion on resolution 103-12, stipulation of settlement for 251 Walnut Drive Realty Associates.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Castiglia, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Coletti.
Abstain?
Conboy.
Yes.
Truinsky.
I abstain also.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under applications, we have Gander Avenue Parent-Teacher Organization, raffle application for a Trick or Treat fundraiser, Gander Avenue Parent-Teacher Association, raffle application for a 50-50 raffle, 16th Avenue Parent-Teacher Organization, raffle application for casino night, and 16th Avenue Parent-Teacher Organization, raffle application for 50-50 raffle.
Motion for all four, please.
So moved.
Mr. Monsino and Mr. Chouinski. Any discussion, all in favor? Opposed, so ordered. And last motion to accept the court violations of quality report.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Conspiglia, second by Mr. Work. Any discussion, all in favor? Opposed, so ordered. Committee reports. Let's start with Mr. Coletti.
The other night, I had the opportunity to attend the school board meeting as a liaison. The board voted to reduce busing routes to state mandate requirements. Accordingly, the savings will allow them to hire 5 more teachers and bring back many programs that were previously removed, while staying under the state required cap of 2%. Additionally, regarding the school, their enrollment was up 119 students from the previous year. Mayor?
Thank you. Mr. Chouinski?
Can I ask a question? You want to ask the councilman a question? Sure. Bob, Councilman Coletti, the bus routes, they're eliminating some bus routes?
Yes.
What was their, I was curious, what was their reasoning? Not to need anymore, or?
No, in order to stay, this is the way they put it, in order to stay under the cap, they had to eliminate something. And this is where they went. They felt it would have at least effect on the school district.
Did they say that they're studying that these are kids who could live close to school, or these kids?
They basically said that they're dropping it to the state mandate requirements. So whatever the state mandate requires them, and I'm not quite sure what the parameters are.
Well, I understand, but I'm just curious, little Janie who lives X, now she has to walk to school, and she may have to walk 13 blocks.
2 miles, 2 miles.
2 miles, well, we're only about 2.5 miles, you know.
I think the exception, and I think, I'm not quite sure, I'm looking into this right now, when we think about Route 4, all these students north of Route 4, and all the students south of Route 46, I think those are probably the parameters of the state mandate. And that's where I think the busing will continue. Once again, I'm not quite sure, I'm seeking a clarification on it. But the balance, I think, is being eliminated.
Thank you. Mr. Joyce?
Oh, yeah, again, I'd like to say congratulations to Chief Tom Johnson and his family. We've been, for those who don't know, the last few days, Bob, myself, and the mayor have been involved in police negotiations with the PBA. I think we spent a good 10 hours on that already, at least 10 hours, and we're still not done. But we're looking for the best interests of the police and also, first and foremost, the taxpayers. The fire department status quo right now, everything seems pretty calm, although I did meet with Chief Sulik and our current administrator / clerk, Katie Kazmark, regarding the standby pay ordinance, which is available for in case of emergencies, or we can get reimbursed. So even our fire department can get reimbursed from FEMA or whatever under the emergency services, emergency call by the state of New Jersey. And be made known to you that none of this money would come from the town coffers. And the insurance front, there's no meeting for JIF this week, although at the end of this month, there's a safety breakfast meeting at the Fiesta at 8:30 for JIF fund managers and any of the town council or DPW head. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Burke?
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, the Owen Park Health Department will be continuing to offer free adult consultation and child health clinics to the residents of Elmwood Park. The next adult consultation clinic for you will be held on March 20th, which is Tuesday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the private clinic room in the municipal building. This clinic is available for all adults 18 years or older, and no appointments are required. The next child health care clinics will be held on March 6th, which is Tuesday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and April 9th, which is a Monday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Immunizations required by the Board of Education are available at these clinics for free. And once again, these clinics are free for well visits and free, for families that are underinsured and uninsured. These clinics are by appointment only. Please call the Elmwood Park Health Department at 201-796-1457, extension 304 to set up your appointment. Both of these clinics are held in a clinic room in the lower level of the municipal building, and you can use the Market Street entrance for these clinics. Elmwood Park Health will be holding a CMAC blood test on April 18th. The charge for these tests are $30. Men's PSA blood test is an additional $35. And this clinic is also by appointment only, and pre-registration is required. Early morning appointments are available. The serum blood test is a 23-component blood test that includes cholesterol, HDL, LDL, and thyroid screenings that are some of the tests that are included in these tests. And as I stated last meeting, there is good news regarding the Elmwood Park Board of Health. The Elmwood Park Board of Health did have a meeting with another local town regarding sharing our health office and the health department. The meeting went extremely well. The Board of Health reviewed the contract, and Keith Castro has reviewed the financial end of it, and we'll be sending out a proposal to this local town. And I don't mention the town due to the fact we didn't finalize anything, so I don't want to bring your name into it yet. That's why I just keep that. Also, I congratulate our health department securing a grant from Rutgers. I did mention this last meeting. It's for the New Jersey Quality Improvement Community Grant Program for local public health departments. And our department was chosen along with 11 other departments out of 90 applicants to receive this grant. And last but not least, the next Elmwood Park homeowners meeting will be held on March 28th at 7:30. The meetings are usually held in the lower purpose from the municipal building, and I'll probably get some more information on the meeting of who's going to be their guest speaker. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and we may be getting another time talking about the water health in the future. I met with the council the other day. He may be contacting Board of Health or Clerk Mr. Casmar. Mr. Xavier?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The planning board hasn't met yet this month, so there's nothing to report there. The mayor and I attended the community development meeting in Hackensack last night. Of course, we went there to try to secure some funds for a project. The project we're working on right now is should be the final phase of the Fletcher Brook improvements from Kip Ave down to Garfield. Now, as I had mentioned before, this money is federal money, and the county distributes it. I think there was 9 communities there with us. We went to 3 meetings. The last meeting was last night. We were asking for $220,000. Now, those funds were cut by 20% last year and cut by 20% again this year. So, of course, you're going thinking that you're going to get at least a deduction of 20%. Now, last year we did come home with $200,000. This year we went in asking for $220,000. We did come out with $181,000 for this project. So I think that that's really an accomplishment, depending on how tight the money has been coming in there. That's it on that, Mayor. The only other thing I wanted to mention, I was at that Board of Education meeting the other night also. From what I remember, I think I'm right on my figures, but a resident had asked the question, how many children get bused now? And I believe the answer was 900. And then she asked, how many will be bused after this goes into effect? And I'm pretty sure the answer was 89 children. So it's going to be cut from 900 to 89. That's like 90%.
So they're basically eliminating busing.
There's a state standard. I think the high school is within 2.5 miles of the high school. After that, you'll be bused. After 2.6. So think about it. You know, the town's not really that big.
So there's 89 children who live
89 and 900.
No, there's 89 children who live across
that outskirt.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it was broken down to three different groupings. Elementary school, I believe, was less than a mile. It was like 0.5 or 0.6. Middle school, they'll be picked up beyond 1.5 miles, I believe it was. And the high school is beyond 2.5 miles. So of course we have several elementary schools around, and you know, each one has its own area. So it's the kids that live outside that little area and go to that school, which would just be on the outskirts of that. And then somebody did ask the question, how are you going to draw the line? You know, if 2.5 miles is this many feet, and I'm 20 feet beyond that, my kid can't get on the bus. So I don't know how they're going to work that out, but I just want to bring that up, man.
Thank you. Mr. Conlon.
Just to piggyback to the councilman, just that he was talking. So that means that only 89 children in our school district either live across Broadway or across Route 46.
Well, not necessarily, special needs and handicap have to be picked up too, I think was in there.
Well, that's in that number, you know, I would hope, I don't know what that number is, I mean,
It's a good number.
It's a large number.
Large number, too.
well, they always threatened if the budget failed, they'd take it away, so I guess, there you go. Let's hope that happens to the school children. Okay, my report. I've already congratulated Tommy, but again, Tommy Johnson, Chief Johnson, his entire family, congratulations. I would like to, at this point, just also welcome aboard, I don't know if they were here or not tonight, but among the mix of everybody. As you heard tonight, the consent agenda, we hired 2 new DPW workers. I want to welcome those 2 workers aboard. I hope be safe down there. DPW job is not easy, and they're always doing something, digging, or got some heavy equipment in their hands. So I want to welcome them aboard, and good luck, and have a healthy and safe career. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Monsignor.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Again, I'd like to congratulate Chief Johnson on his promotion to Chief of Department. I look forward to working with him as liaison. For the balance of my term, you can already see in the 2 months, he's decisive and he has a vision for the department. And we look forward to working with him. As Councilman Shalinski mentioned, we are in negotiations with the TVA on their contract, and we are working to structure a contract that's in the best interest of the residents of Elmwood Park. And then one final, I'd like to give an update on the library. Pardon me for referring to my notes. I have a lot of ground to cover, and I want to be as accurate as possible. Over the last couple of months, I told you that members of the governing body were going to meet with the library board, members of the library board, to discuss a strategic plan for the library to serve the community for years to come. And say what the go-forward plans will be, but I know one thing, I, along with the governing body, will be looking for feedback from the residents on what I discussed this evening. In July of 2011, the governing body discussed future plans for the library with Ms. Silverman, the president of the library board. The meeting was prompted by the fact that the library board held what was projected at the time some $1.3 million in taxpayer money as unrestricted surplus. We understood that the library board desired to make improvements, but did not have a strategic or capital plan in place on how they were going to spend that money. The governing body hoped to determine a reasonable and necessary list of expenditures, and then possibly target some of that surplus to give back to the residents in the form of tax relief. At that meeting, Ms. Silverman offered the following as major priorities for the library. She indicated she would like to pave the parking lot and replace the blocks and pavers, update the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and possibly add additional floor space or area on the second floor. At that meeting, no agreements were reached as the library board needed to complete their study. Just a quick bit about library finances. In my tenure as councilman, the municipal appropriation to the library averaged something on the order of $824,000 a year annually. The appropriation set by state statute is 4054-8. It's raised by taxation and it's based on assessable property. We're now breaking that out in your tax bill. This year was the first year, so you can see, have some visibility into what your contribution to that appropriation is. Over that same period, the average annual operating expense for the library was some $664,000 annually. So again, on average, this results in a surplus of $160,000 annually, or some 25% over the annual operating expenditures. I should note there's also a state statute, 4054-15, that provides that unrestricted surplus in excess of 20% of the operating expenditures be returned to the municipality in the form of tax relief. So, recognizing the library board desires to make improvements at the library, has $1.3 million in unrestricted surplus, and lacking a forward strategic plan or capital plan, the council sought to work with the library board to develop a solution in the best interest of the residents. However, over the course of the fall of 2011, we received feedback such as they can't tell us how much it will cost until they get their plans approved by the state. They were reviewing the library board minutes. There seemed to be a desire to spend the entire amount without a plan in place. They secured an attorney as opposed to an architect, which kind of surprises me when you want to develop a strategic or a capital plan. Being told we as a governing body were trying to steal the library board's money. Given all this, the council decided to act. The council directed Mr. Giblin, our attorney, to seek the return of $800,000 in unrestricted surplus. On December 2nd, Mr. Giblin sent a request to the state librarian. The state librarian responded to Ms. Silverman on December 9th, and she requested a capital plan within 2 months and requested that the library board complete a transfer of funds form and return it to Mr. Giblin. On December 13th, after reviewing this response, I reached out to Ms. Silverman and proposed we jointly develop a plan, perhaps working in a smaller team, myself and one additional councilman, and her and one additional library board member. On December 28th, Ms. Silverman advised me that all communication between the council and library board needed to go through attorneys. I followed up with Ms. Silverman and by phone, and we had an agreement by the first of this year to meet. We just needed to work out the dates for those initial meetings to make sure they were acceptable for all those concerned. But that as far as it went. As in my opinion, Ms. Silverman and the library board stalled until February 6th. When at that time she finally proposed some meeting dates, but also said she had already unilaterally developed a plan, and the plan was on the way to Trenton for approval. On February 15th of this year, through Mr. Giblin, the state librarian provided a copy of the capital plan and transfer of funds submitted to our library board. And guess what? In 2 months, the library board came up with a plan to spend $1,287,000, every penny of the surplus, and indicated $0 available to return to you, the taxpayer. Well, I'm not surprised that this would be the outcome. I wanted to take a deep dive into the details of this $1.3 million plan. And here's what I found. The plan ties expenditures to a broad range of categories like safety and energy, but fails to propose a future vision of services and the expenditures required to achieve that vision. Alternately, the board chose to devote entire 2 pages of the plan to discuss the history of Oakland Park. We heard about the Indians, Lords Berkeley and Carteret, Dutch farmers, and the Dundee Dam. The only mention of the library was the last paragraph, where we learned it was completed in 1979 and measures 12,572 square feet. I asked, how do we move forward as a community when we devote so much energy looking backwards? They devoted another 1/2 a page bashing this and previous councils. All I could say regarding that was the board can't have it both ways. And the balance of their capital report was lifted verbatim from an architect's improvement study. In the absence of a clearly defined vision for the library, I performed a requirements analysis of the capital plan submitted, and I searched for the words require, shall, and should. There were 15 instances of the word required that could be tied to a hard requirement. There were 0 instances of the word shall that could also be interpreted as a hard requirement. There were 20 instances of the word should where I perceived that this would be a preferred action, but not necessarily a requirement. Of the 15 required actions, I totaled up the estimated cost of the capital plan for those required actions. They totaled $180,000, not $1.3 million. As you read through the study, and I have to say the architect did a thorough review of the building, 2 things are clear, in my opinion. The library board has neglected the maintenance items on a routine basis. And after looking at that plan, we still don't have a capital plan for the library. Now, let me be crystal clear. I 100% support having a library in our community that provides programs and resources for our residents, young and old alike. I support making the necessary improvements to the library to ensure it's safe and efficient, and provide safe and efficient services to our residents. Did the library board save this money with good intentions? Absolutely. However, given the economic pressures we are all under, they need to take a critical look at this situation and put a plan together that will address library needs and offer a little bit back to the residents. Unlike the library board, who are political appointments, I, as an elected official, have the responsibility to question how your tax dollars are being spent. The bottom line is, it's not their money, it's your money. I'm going to ask Mr. Kazmark to post the library board's capital plan on the borough's website and make it available in his office for your review. I would certainly like to hear from the public on this issue. If what I discussed here makes any sense, if I'm way off base, if you have any recommendations about this presentation. Feel free to contact me by email, phone, I believe my number's in the Waste Watchers handbook, or stop down at our next public meeting to let the entire governing body know how you feel about this matter. My expectations are that the library board sit down seriously with the governing body and jointly collaborate on a real strategic plan that we all can get behind. We owe that much to the residents of this community. If they are unwilling to do that, I'm going to recommend to my colleagues we explore steps necessary to limit the scope of the library board and transfer budget capital responsibility to borough control.
Thank you.
May I just make a comment if I could, please?
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Mayor. I wanted to wait for Councilman Vancino to give you his synopsis, and I will be brief, but and not as polite as Councilman Vancino. I, as a representative of the taxpayers, you voted for us to be here. I'm very upset about this from the word go. I will sit down at any table and work with anybody, regardless of what some may think. I'll roll up my sleeves, I'll bring a dozen of donuts, and let's sit down and talk. From the minute the library board came in, the arrogance from the board president was unbelievable. And the board president currently doesn't even live in town anymore. She shouldn't even probably be serving as telling us how to spend our tax dollars, regardless if she may own property in town. The meeting started off like this, folks, the very first meeting. You don't have a library card. I've been living here now 21 years in the town. I'll be married 21 years in April. I moved here with my wife, who's been a long-time resident. First thing she told me to do was go get a library card. When I came home that night and told her I didn't have one, she said, don't ever leave home without it again. Here's your library card. And she was very upset that that's how it started. Thomas G. Conboy, Elwood Park library card. So I have one, Jamie. Do you still have a town library card? You're not here in town anymore. I am very angry, and as you can tell from my tone, because we work hard for you. It's bad enough that Trenton tells us to do this. You always see the mayor say that. You know, they make us do all these things. What do you say, mayor? State mandates, they should pay, right? So then you take civil service, and then you take everything else. By the time if the road is this wide, let's say it's Route 80 and it's 8 lanes, 9 lanes, by the time your governing body gets to take any action, we're down to 2 lanes, and then 1. And then we find ourselves on the service lane. Because laws, this, that, boom, boom, union this, union that, the board says this. You know, some of the members of the board we appoint. Some of the mayor, some are just by mayor only. And, you know, I gotta tell you something. If I could abolish all these boards tomorrow, and a lot of the folks I know I help put on those boards, I would do it tomorrow. Because with all the stuff that you keep hearing from Trent, we're like, months put handcuffs on us. Ask Tommy to come back up because we have a very difficult time governing your tax dollars. And that's what infuriates me. You know, as Councilman Monsino mentioned, the word stealing their money has been used. And that infuriates the living daylight out of me. Because I know a commission known as the Recreation, they'd like to talk back here with the mayor and council. Because they recognize they have a trust account just like the library. And for the last 2 years, we've gone into that trust fund for you, the taxpayers, to help with this difficult, hard tax time and these economical times. Over $500,000 in 2 years have been taken from that trust to help bring down your tax dollars. Now, maybe nobody wants to say that, nobody wants to hear it, but that's the fact, folks. No permission. We didn't go and say, we took that money on behalf of the taxpayers. Sure, the Rec Commission would like to have that authority, but every one of them will come in here tonight and tell you, hey, we live here, it's our tax dollars. If you can bring it down, hey. And they're making improvements over there, they're taking care of the building. And that's another thing, Mayor, I'm surprised, I would hope that maybe you'd comment on it. In here, it talks about, I learned about the Indians and everything else like Councilman Monsino said. One thing I really take exception to, as a councilman now, but also for the mayor. It talks in here that we haven't touched that building since 1979, other than a roof and air conditioning. The mayor sits on that board. That's a slap in his face. Regardless of how they save money, yes, they should be applauded. So should all the other boards who save money if they have that ability to do that when they have a trust account. That just absolutely throws me off. Because that's what we've been proactive on. When Councilman Monsino first got elected, we went out on a cold day, there was no leaves on the trees, we walked at the time, the governing body prior to us getting on board, bought the property on English Avenue with work boots, and you have boots on, snow boots. We walked the property on English Avenue. Mr. Conti's in the audience tonight. We wanted to address his concerns about doing a park down there, but what we're going to do with this new property. And then we stopped by the library board, by the library. We saw all the mildew on the side of the building. We talked to this guy to be expanded on. And this infuriates me here. It says that the governing body shows no interest, whether it's this governing body or the previous governing bodies, no interest in any work on the library. And we went there, and we saw the parking lot, and in here it talks about drainage problems. We recognize, I even said to the mayor, that draining is sinking in. Councilman Monsino comes from the engineering background, He recognized it right away. We were prepared, and at that time, to fix the drain, pave the parking lot, and put back some of the Belgian block, and repair the sign that I don't think even hangs there anymore. We were told, no, don't worry, library will take it. The library said, no, we don't need it. So whether Mrs. Silberman was on it or not at the time, and maybe even a good friends of ours might have been the chairman of it or on the board, they should have been fixing it, if that's what the money was for. They should have put a plan together and slowly every year keep putting the money, some money back into it. This governing body was only asking for some of it back to help us. We're taxpayers in this town. It wasn't so that we could steal it and go off to Atlantic City and spend your money. It was to give it back to you in that bill that you get. That when you open it up, you cringe every quarter. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize to my colleagues for being upset. But I do think tonight, and I hope my colleagues and the mayor, all of us here, will join together and rewrite a letter to the state. The state's only heard one side. Maybe she liked the story about the Indians, but this is not a true story of what really happened. And that's what infuriates me. That's what really, really infuriates me. As a taxpayer and someone who's been elected by you for another term, I have two more years to go to serve here for you. And when we're out there out there with you at functions, whatever, all we hear from all of you, as well as ourselves, about the taxes. And that's, I'm sorry, I apologize, but as you can see, I'm passionate about it. Because this process started, and I said to the council then, I said, watch. They'll come back, they're going to spend it all, we're going to have problems. And I did ask Mr. Giglin at that meeting, which I'm glad it does acknowledge him that we own the building. The question was who owns it? And Mr. Giglin, our borough attorney, said, well, we do. I said, great. So we can stop and halt all work on that building. I think one of the items they want to do is in the kitchen, staff kitchen, is put an oven. I don't know what they need an oven for. Don't we give out books? We're going to be cooking down there? I don't know. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me the extra time. I apologize.
Thank you. Talking about the CD money that we received for the Kip Avenue area, we could have gone down to $160,000. We had $181,000. One of my concerns is that next year there's going to be another drop of 20%. So I suspect in the very near future the whole program of CD money may be eliminated. So we've got to continue to do what we're doing. At this time, we all know that Mr. Warecker resigned from the Planning and Zoning Board, and what I would propose, and I'm going to nominate Mr. Panetta, who was our first alternate for the last 4 years, to replace him, and then we'll move Mr. Benamini up to the position of first alternate, and everybody's ready for the March meeting. Could I have a motion on that, please?
Mayor, can we vote on Mr. Panetta and Mr. Benamini separately?
Okay.
Take a motion on Panetta first?
Yes. Can I have a motion on it to accept the resignation?
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Testiglia, second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Work. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
This is on accepting the resignation of Mr. Warecker. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Galletti?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, now we need a motion on moving Mr. Panetta up from alternate to full member of the Board of Adjustment.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Testiglia, second. Second by who? Mr. Conboy. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Roll call, Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Galletti?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
All right, Mayor, now we can take a motion to move Mr. Benamini up to the alternate.
A motion for Mr. Benamini.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Galletti?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The comments in relation to the library, that it's a misnomer to think that no work has been done in that library all these years. They've been repairing it, and they've been using the money that they have to repair. They've never come back to the council for a penny on it. Mr. Conboy, they're not going to put an oven or anything else into the library. They have a microwave, and that's about the end of it. They'll be presenting a plan to the council, and there's some misconceptions that are going on. I think it would be a good idea to have the library come in, and maybe we can discuss this in a civilized manner and see where they're going. At this time, if there's a public meeting, if anyone who wants to speak, anyone? Yes, Mr. Conti? If we can move it along, we would like to get over this.
I got 3 things. Steve Conti, 274 Market Street. Coming off of Route 46, where the old diner was, there's a parking right over there. Between the exit and that house, there's just a ton of branches just there. Is that the DPW's responsibility, or is that the homeowner's
We'll try
responsibility?
to get you, just figure that you can recommend
Where's that,
that.
right on the ramp?
Yeah, right off, as you get off the ramp, on the right-hand side.
As I'm coming down the ramp before I make the turn onto the boulevard.
Correct.
See that area there?
Correct.
Yeah, that's their property, but if we wait for them to do it, we'll have.
Well, it's probably a home, so.
Yeah, probably. Second thing is, what is the construction they're doing on 80, just after exit 61, westbound?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Through you, Mayor, Route 80 is slated to be resurfaced in the next couple of months, so maybe some prep work related to that. We did get notification.
Any more areas that we're going to be looking to put in a park and ride?
At this point, we haven't gotten any feedback, certainly around what we wanted to do down here at the Junior Auto, across the street from.
What about where the old gas station was on the corner of the river and Market, right by Route 80? Where the old gas station was?
Oh, no, that land is there. The state is planning to put a ramp as an exit.
Okay.
The exit ramp through there would go to the southern part of our town. The present ramp would go to the northern part. Would be a five-corner.
When I was on the library board some 10 years ago, and I moved out of town, I had to resign from the library board because I was no longer in town. So, but I still own property in town. So then how is she still on the board?
It was determined through, Mr. Gable, you want to answer that question?
The statute, I don't know what the statute was 10 years ago, but I was asked to look into that, and it does not require a certain number of members of the board to live in town. I believe it's 4 members can live out of town.
That's interesting.
Want to get back on?
No, I was just asking the question because I was kind of confused by that. Last question, as I usually ask, did we ever figure out how much Mr. Lang was fined? Not maintaining the property? Because you know I'm going to ask that question every time I come. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
No.
Anyone in the back? Yes.
Who's taller?
Yeah, I'm getting taller. My voice is changing and everything. Yeah, it's been a while.
Name and address, please.
Yes, Victor Mikulovsky, 8 Augusta Street, Elmwood Park. I just have a question for the whole council here. I know Councilman Truinsky was at the board meeting, Councilman Troy was at the board meeting, and Councilman Stigler as well. Dr. Tomka, the superintendent, was discussing about the bus policy. Under this policy, I will not be on taking the bus anymore back and forth. That's really going to be a shame for me and a shame for the rest of the over 800 students who will not be able to take that bus. This ready, the reason I came up here before was talking about sidewalks. Well, still certain areas, messed up sidewalks. I'm a grown man, I guess, and I can avoid that, but other individuals may not have such a great time. And plus, these streets as well, cars are going through, and now you imagine all these parents who have to drive the kids to school. That's more cars, it's more kids on the street, and it's going to be dangerous. So something that was discussed there was that whole crossing guard issue, and they said they were going to be discussing it with, if I heard correctly, whether with the police department or the council, I don't know who.
Chief Johnson.
Chief Johnson, all right. Are you guys going to be part of that discussion or no?
If I may,
Crossing guards.
I had spoken to Mr. Tomko about that, and he would like to have a meeting very shortly between Mr. Monsino, myself, and Captain Johnson, Chief Johnson. So that's what's in the works in reference to that.
All right. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Good evening, gentlemen. Mel Kaplan, Elmwood Park. Mr. Conti brought up something which brought to mind something also. The Garden State Parkway exit, that when you get off, it says Saddlebrook, Elmwood Park, you make that turn to make the left turn onto Molnar Drive where the abutment of the railroad is. All those branches are overgrown. To make that left turn onto Molnar Drive, you've got to at least go out 3-4 feet onto Molnar Drive to see if any traffic is coming. You think the DPW can go there and spend a half an hour and trim it? In fact, a few years ago, my good friend, Mr. Chewinski, went there himself and trimmed those branches. Right. I think if the DPW could spend half an hour, it would be a real safety hazard. Thank you.
Contact the Parkway people or the Route 80 people. Anyone else who wishes to be heard? No one wishes to be heard, Mr. President?
Mayor, at this time, we will need to go into executive session, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss ongoing negotiations with PDA Local 175, and recently kept in one matter involving confidentiality of the above, no longer requires that confidentiality of the minutes indicate publicly. Therefore, be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Mayor, will need a motion to go into executive.
Motion, please. So moved. Go into executive, Mr. Word. Second. Second.
On roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Coletti.
Yes.
Tomboy.
Sure, what,
Chewinski. Lonsino. And Work.
Yes.
Mayor, it's not customary for this council to come out and possibly take action on any type of matter. However, at this time, we will not adjourn the meeting, but go into an executive session to discuss, and then we'll come back out to adjourn just in the case that there may need to be action taken after the executive session.
Thank you.
Mel, you're talking about right across from Altair, right?
Yes.